Over the past decade, global trade dynamics have seen more twists than a Hollywood thriller. But in 2024, the drama has shifted to an increasingly vital front: the relationship between the United States and India. For decades, the U.S. has touted India as a strategic partner, lauding its economic growth, democratic structure, and technological prowess. But why, after all these friendly overtures, did former President Donald Trump threaten a sweeping 25% tariff on Indian goods? And what's driving today's renewed pressure from Washington, amplified by figures like Elon Musk? To answer this, we need to understand how America's economic anxieties, technological ambitions, and shifting alliances shape its India policy. First, let's rewind. In the 2000s and 2010s, as tensions with China grew, the U.S. turned increasingly to India as both a geopolitical and economic counterweight. American leaders saw India as a vast market ripe for U.S. exports, a country moving steadily toward economic liberalization and open trade. American companies like Apple, Google, and Amazon were eager to set up shop, eyeing over 1 billion consumers and a burgeoning middle class. Here, India's annual growth rates, often topping 7 or 8%, fueled Washington's optimism. But as India opened up, a new set of problems emerged. Indian policymakers, keen to protect domestic industry, imposed an array of barriers: high import taxes on cars, electronics and agricultural products, restrictive local content requirements, and labyrinthine regulations. For U.S. companies, India's red tape has long been a source of frustration. Enter Donald Trump. Trump's administration had a singularly blunt approach to trade. If a trading partner wasn't living up to America's expectations, or if trade surpluses persisted, sanctions or tariffs became the go-to weapon. With India, Trump zeroed in on what he called unfair practices. India was, after all, among the world's highest tariff major economies. In 2019, Trump revoked India's preferential status under the Generalized System of Preferences, which allowed billions of dollars of Indian exports to enter the U.S. duty-free. But even that wasn't enough for Trump. In the heat of trade wars primarily aimed at China, found itself in the line of fire. Trump threatened a 25% tariff on Indian goods if India didn't open its markets wider to U.S. companies, especially car makers and tech giants. The threat wasn't just about economics, it was about leverage. The U.S. wanted more than market access. It wanted India to align more closely with broader American strategic aims in the Asia-Pacific. So why is the pressure mounting again now? To answer that, look to new battlegrounds in geopolitics and technology. Elon Musk's recent skirmishes with Indian authorities over Tesla's entry into India, for example, reflect a wider frustration among Silicon Valley giants. India, under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, is pursuing a policy of techno-nationalism. Whether it's the push for Make in India, new data localization rules, or demands for local manufacturing, India is signaling it won't simply open its doors on America's terms. Elon Musk has been unusually vocal about his struggles with Indian red tape. From tariffs on imported Tesla vehicles to demands for heavy localized investment, for Musk and other American CEOs, India represents not just a sea of potential customers, but also an access point to cheaper manufacturing and advanced talent. Yet India's government, wary of foreign dominance, insists on domestic value, addition forcing American companies like Tesla to commit to local supply chains before offering market incentives. U.S. policymakers see a pattern here that echoes their frustrations with China. Protectionist policies, barriers to entry, and censorship of digital platforms. The difference is, with India, Washington believes pressure can still shape the future direction of the relationship. Whether through tariff threats, calls for friendshoring, moving supply chains from China to friendlier countries like India, or attempts to deepen defense and technology alliances. The U.S. is signaling that partnership can't be a one-way street. There's another layer to this story. India's own rise on the world stage means it is less willing to take diktats from any foreign capital. With its massive market and growing technological base, India is simultaneously courted by both the West and countries like Russia. New Delhi wants investment and innovation, but isn't willing to surrender its policy autonomy. This dance of cooperation and competition is perhaps best embodied by the tech wars. for Musk and his peers. The stakes are enormous. Winning Indian market share now could define the next decade of global competition. For Washington, ensuring U.S. interests in India is central to its wider strategy for balancing China's influence. So is the tariff threat under Trump an anomaly, or part of a longer story? In truth, Trump's moves were an early warning shot, exposing frictions that are intensifying, not fading. The real story is that as India grows in power, and as American companies hunger for new frontiers, the world's two largest democracies will keep colliding, sometimes as partners, sometimes as rivals, always negotiating for an edge in a rapidly changing world.